In this video, I'm going to talk to you about toxic relationships. Toxic relationships are any relationship that doesn't build upon your mind, body, and spirit. It doesn't nurture it. It doesn't grow it. It doesn't better it in all aspects. The epitome of a toxic relationship is pretty much what you'd expect. The abusive, either mentally or physically, the abusive relationship. You know, when you are in this type of relationship, you are dealing with someone with a very, very low vibration. You know, they are scared that they are going to lose you. And instead of proving themselves with greatness and love, they need to keep you like a physical object by control and fear. And we all deserve better than that, you know. And for the people that are in this relationship, this abusive relationship, either mentally or physically, you know, you deserve better and you need to get out of it. You know, if you're standing on the train track and the train is coming at you, your life is in danger. So what should you do? You get out of the way of the train. Your significant other is coming at you and they're ready to smack the hell out of you, or they're ready to cut you or shoot you or whatever. And then you see them coming. You see the signs that you really feel like your life is in danger being around this person. What would you do? You need to get out of that situation. You need to run. You need to get out of that. You need to get out of it. There's all these numbers you can call and places that shelter these men and women. But to get away from the doom and gloom a little bit, let's just talk about the typical relationships that us young people are experiencing today. Pretty much, it starts to show it in the small ways with, let me go through your phone. Let me see who you're talking to. And a phrase that I learned was, if you have to check someone's phone, you already lost. Either you already lost them, as in you know they're cheating on you. They're doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing. And you know this. You've already lost them. But on the same respect, if they are doing absolutely nothing, you've indeed already lost them because you put something on them that they are just not doing. And you need to work on that on yourself. Like you need to work on yourself in that regard. Most of these people are projecting that fear that I discussed. They think that their world is going to stop if that person leaves them. They're fearful that that person's going to leave, so you have to do these types of things to keep them there. You have to realize that you have to change your energy. You have to change the way you feel about yourself, because all of it comes from inside. In this channel, you know, I talk about nothing but spirituality and seeing the invisible forces that are affecting our lives. So when you're in this relationship, you have to say, I'm not saying take responsibility like I deserve this because I attracted it. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you have to understand that, okay, wait a minute. I'm experiencing this in my life. What's going on here? Maybe my energy is what attracted it. And that's exactly what's happening. And I'll give you my personal example. My first relationship was my toxic relationship. It wasn't nothing abusive, nothing like that. But, you know, I was dealing with being cheated on and knowing about it. But like, I was just hoping that things would get better. I was hoping that things would fix themselves. And, but what I got from this was I'm giving this girl my all. I'm giving her everything in me. I am loving her. If she's low, I'm trying to build her up. If she's not feeling beautiful, I'm trying to, you know, give her things that make her feel beautiful and say everything I need to say to her. But still ended up getting cheated on a couple times, probably more, but I only know of 2. So we'll just say 2 times. And for a while, that hurt me. Of course, like, you know, with anybody. But what I realized is, as much as I worked on myself in those following year or 2 after the relationship, like, I realized that there's some things that you can only realize, there's some things that you only see in yourself with a test. My test was my second relationship. Now, this relationship was beautiful. It was shorter than it should have been, but I had this feeling when I was with her that I wasn't good enough. Now, she never made any implication that I wasn't good enough. She was head over heels in love with me. And I loved her too. Let's not get it messed up. But in my head, I saw the greatness that she was doing. And at the time, I wasn't on my stride and on my path and on my truth. I wasn't there yet. So I was still insecure when I saw her doing really cool things and, all the plans that she had for life. I was like, wow, she's dreaming bigger than me. I can't do it for her. I can't do that, And what that ended up doing was it kept me from loving her the way I wanted to, that I knew that I was capable of. Some people, when they're in that situation, that's when they get physical. That's when they get abusive because they are scared to lose you. They are scared to lose you. And you need to understand that. They're scared, but they want to control you. They see you as a physical object. I need to keep this person. Oh, no one's going to love you like I am. No one wants you, blah, blah, blah. In some regard, you have to ask them, well, if I'm so terrible, why do you want me? And they'll never admit to the fear of losing you. They'll never will. Instead of loving you to keep you, they'll hurt you to keep you, to control you, to whip you. Kind of like slavery, to do what you got to do to keep you in place. And that's already a bad thing. Keep you in place. My first statement was a loving relationship is supposed to make you grow, but they want to keep you in place. They're hurting you, so you don't challenge them, so you don't run. You see what I'm saying? So I realized then after that relationship had ended for me, that I really had to do some real soul searching and some real energy work. So changing the tide of this, you have to start to understand. I'm not saying, with what I'm about to say, I'm not saying that you need to take responsibility for that person's actions, for that person hurting you. I deserve this because my energy attracted it. No, that is not what I'm saying in the slightest. What I'm saying is the universe hears what you say about yourself, and it gives you opportunities to either grow on whatever it is that you're saying about yourself, or an opportunity that promotes what it is that you believe about yourself. So for me, I don't feel good enough. So at that time, when I wasn't feeling good enough, it gave me someone that was doing all these huge plans and that I didn't feel good enough for, that I feel like that I didn't match. But you also have to understand, when you look at everything as a purely energy to energy standpoint, my insecurity attracted her insecurity, because her insecurity, before she met me, before we got into our relationship, she was very dependent on male validation, and I'm saying that in a nice way. She needed men to make her feel pretty, if you can fill in the gaps there, and it was strange to me, because when we'd be intimate and afterwards, she'd always make comments saying I look like a boy. I think I look like a boy because she was into fitness and things like that. So she had more muscle than the average female. But I was just like, in my head, all I saw was femininity, a beautiful female frame in front of me. But she saw herself looking like a boy. And during the aftermath, I found out that she had a big fear of that every time she opens up to people, that's when the relationship ends. And that's exactly what happened. She manifested that from that strong, deep-rooted fear. And I tried to explain that, but exes stop listening to you. That's just how it goes. So whatever. But for me, with my insecurity, I attracted her insecurity. And that's what attracted between us. And that's what kept us both from loving each other fully. And I had at least the emotional intelligence to say, you know what, maybe I need to take a step back and learn myself more. And like I said before, that's when the other person will say, you know what, I'm scared that she's going to leave me because she's going to see these bad things in me. Or he's going to see the bad things in me, blah, blah, blah. So you say these things and you ain't shit, because women are good at saying that one. You ain't shit. You can't do this for me. You can't buy me this, blah, blah, blah. What man wants to hear that? I'm not saying that's what she did. This is just a theoretical example. What man wants to hear that? If you find yourself to be a woman saying that to a man, you are the toxic one. People all think it always has to be the man that's toxic. You yourself can be toxic. But toxic is just a manifestation of what you believe inside. It's just how it comes out, So I'll leave you with some tips. Number 1, love yourself. You have to love yourself in the way that you can look in the mirror and love yourself physically. Reward yourself for, yes, my positive thinking, my drive, my aspirations are what got me here. Spirit. You have to say, you know what? It's my energy. It's the universe telling me that I'm on the right track. This is why I love myself so much. I'm grateful for my hair, my skin, my eyes, my hands, whatever. I'm grateful for the fact that I can do this. You need to be able to do this and love everything about yourself without somebody. The purpose of relationships is to come together. 2 whole pieces come together. You complete me is the worst phrase that you can say in a relationship. It really is. You complete me. No, you need to be complete on your own. I'm not saying that there isn't, some tweaks that you have to make and compromises you need to make with the person, but I'm saying you have to be complete. Work on yourself and not need the validation from anyone. Because when you do that, no one will ever live up to your standards. No one can make you love yourself. And that's why you'll be continuously accepting these bad conditions, or you'll always be looking for more, and you'll be frustrated with the person because they're not making you love yourself as much as you should already love yourself. The next one is, do not fall in love with the potential of somebody. I've made that mistake. That was my first relationship. I fell in love with the potential. And I see it a lot in my friends around me, where they'll be with someone and I can see it off the rip. But of course, I stay in my own lane because I could be wrong. But they'll complain and they'll say, oh, this person does this and that. He's always talking to that other girl. He's always doing this and that. But I see it in them that if I could just get him to do this, if I can just get her to calm down, if I can just do this, then we're going to be set. What happens if that never comes? You're going to fall in love with the potential until you walking around with the tennis balls on your walker? Like, that's not how this works. Once again, if they were complete, they will come to you and say, this is me. Now, I'm willing to make some changes, but this is me. Do you accept this? That potential is dangerous. If she were to do this, she'd be good. If she does this. Now, I'm not saying if they don't have this right off the rip, then just leave them alone. Of course not. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that they keep saying, I'm going to do this, 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 I'm going to do this. And they don't do anything. They don't act on any of it. They don't even try to prepare for it. You need to understand that you're in love with their dream, which still has not yet materialized. And you can hold on and wait and have faith. But if they don't have the belief in it, if they don't have the faith in themselves to actually materialize it and make it happen, you're going to be waiting forever. And you're going to be sad and keep thinking that I should have gone my own way. And it's never too late for that. I don't care if you're 40 years old. You can always do that. Man, this guy promised me this 20 years ago. And he has not. I wasted a lot of my life on him. Don't say you wasted life. You learned. It took you a long time to learn a lesson. And speaking of lessons, we can move to the next one. You also need to change the way you see things. There are billions of people on this planet. Billions. And you are stuck on one person. The analogy I like to give is, are you attached or connected? When you're attached, it's like Velcro, and when you rip it up, and then over enough time, what happens? That Velcro gets worn out. And one of you is going to be that person. Who's going to be the one worn out? Who's going to be the one hurting? That's that attached Velcro feeling. And then you just see 2 magnets, polarity, the law of polarity, which is a universal law. It brings things together. But what happens when you bring magnets apart? Boop, and they go about their own way. You see what I'm saying? It's so much simpler. Boop or you see what I'm saying? So which one are you at? It's almost like if you were to go to school and let's just say the lesson plan has 12 lessons. Each man or woman, each significant other, each love, interest, relation that comes into your life is a lesson for the next person. It's preparation for the next person. If that one isn't it. It's preparation for that dream person of yours. But let's just say this one person in the predestination flow of life, this person is here to hurt you, so you find your own strength to build yourself up. I use that example because that was me. It's like, okay, this person's here to hurt you. You can sit here and dwell on lesson 1. You had 16 more to go, but your whole life you spent on lesson 1. You're just sitting here like, why did he do this to me? But there's no one else, so I'm just going to put up with it, and I hope he gets better. I hope she gets better. I hope he gets it together. I hope she does this and that for me. You stayed on lesson 1 when there was a bunch more that you were supposed to learn from. Don't get stuck. The last piece of advice is being single is great. I'm not saying that in a lonely type of way because I've been single for a minute. It's cool because I've worked on myself and now I'm on my path and I know what I deserve. If a woman comes across my way, I don't care if she's the most beautiful woman walking this face of the planet. If she has no goals and aspirations, all she wants to do is take bikini pictures on Instagram, I'm sorry. If that's all you want to do and there's no marketing, there's no plan after that, you just want to get likes on Instagram, you probably ain't the one for me. And I'll be fine and happy learning, bettering myself, preparing for that next beautiful woman to come across my path. So be single is not, I'm not saying don't have fun. Do what you do, especially if you're young. We're young, but I'm also saying don't forget to work on yourself too. You were being young, wild, and free when you met the first person. Are you going to repeat the cycle? Maybe you should slow your roll and say, you know what? I'm just going to take a year or 2 off from dating anybody and just be me. Learn to love me. You need to better yourself. When your first relationship, what were you doing? For me, my first relationship, I was in college thinking I knew everything. And I was in a very low mindset because college messed me up mentally. And I'll probably make a whole video on that one day. But I was in a very low place. And sometimes it doesn't matter how low and how slow you are, you're always growing. But some people grow in different paths. And that's what happens with like the long-standing relationships. It's like you're supposed to just learn something from that person. There is no loss in the universe. The universe is abundant. You need to change your lack mindset to abundant. Like I said, there's billions of people, and then realistically, there's millions of people that can fit your description. That things that you want, things that you expect out of a significant other. Once you understand that when you lose someone, you don't lose anyone. You gained experience. You gained a lesson. You gained something that you can now use towards your goals. Once you change a few of these things, and I hope I touched on enough for everybody, but once you start to implement these things, you'll see, learn to love yourself. That's pretty much what all this boils down to. When you love yourself, that energy will be transmitted to the universe and more opportunities for you to love yourself and people to love you will come in. I hope that helped you guys. Take care.